I think this could bring $40,000 to $60,000.
My goodness.
It's probably going to fall in the $800 to $1,200, $1,000 range.
I think I need to go a little bit higher.
I think I'm going to pass.
That's fine. That way I didn't have to turn them down and make them mad.
Most true sports fans have something they cherish. From a game they were at, a player they followed, or a team they loved. A piece of the game, presented by Allstate. We're at Harry Caray's today to find out what your sports memorabilia is worth. All are welcome. Here are the experts, some of the best in the business, to put a price tag on those memories. And here's Grant DePorter, CEO of Harry Caray's. He's the guy who spent $114,000 on the Bartman ball, just to blow it up. What do you got?
I got a ball from the Cubs convention signed by Lou Brock, Hall of Famer, and Ernie Broglio. Lou Brock was a Cubs player who they traded to St. Louis for Ernie Broglio, which is recognized as one of the worst trades in Cubs history.
What do you got?
I got Doug Wilson's record-breaking 39th goal stick. Everybody knew he was going to throw the stick. Took off through the parking lot screaming and yelling.
What do you got?
I have a game-used Bill Buckner bat, and I found out today that it's worth between $200 and $300, and the best part is that I bought it at a garage sale for only $1.
Says to Mama Cuddy from Babe Ruth, what's the backstory here? How did you get it? How did your family come by it?
It's been in the family since 1927. Babe Ruth had this made especially for my great-grandmother. My great-grandmother was left the bar in the home next door. She had 5 children, and she ran the tavern.
And this bar is right across the street from Old Comiskey Park.
Right. So and our home was right next door to that.
What made her so special to the Babe that he would do this?
Oh, I think that she made him feel so comfortable and at home. She was a very warm person, and she was cooking, and he would come over, and he wanted to do something especially memorable for her, and I think that this was the ticket. Don't you think?
How do we know that it's real?
Well, that came into question several times, and when the tavern closed, Babe had a daughter, Dorothy Ruth Pacone, and she called my mom and wanted one more beer and one more hot dog. So I was down there with my mother, and she came in and she had just written a book about her father. And my mom and she were chatting, and my mother said, well, what about the bat? You know, some people don't think it's authentic. And she said, oh, it most certainly is. She said, my father had that made for Mom and presented it to her. He wanted to do something just wonderful for her, and he did. I think he did.
And then she actually authenticated it herself by signing it.
She did. Dorothy Ruth Pacone, yes.
Spectacular.
Yes.
Ever had it appraised? Ever had anybody tell you value?
No.
Beyond it being priceless to your family? Well, I think we ought to do that.
That would be nice.
The year was 1910. Comiskey Park was built, and right out the door on 35th Street was McCuddy's Tavern. Ma McCuddy ran the bar and even did the team's laundry. Babe Ruth gave her the name Ma and stopped for a dog and a beer sometimes between innings. The Babe would send a message across the street. Tell Ma to put 6 bottles of beer on ice. It's 2 out of the 9th. That's the Babe holding one of the McCuddy's kids. And that's the legendary bat the Babe made for the McCuddy's and gave them in 1927. It hung there till 1989, when the last beer was served and the doors closed. McCuddy's and Comiskey Park came in together and went out the same way.
The McCuddy bat given by Babe Ruth. Leslie, what do you think?
I think it's amazing. It's an incredible piece of Chicago history. For one thing, beyond sports memorabilia. I mean, McCuddy's was such a famous place, just generally in the city of Chicago. I think this could bring $40,000 to $60,000, maybe even more. I mean, if you think about the fact that Babe Ruth bats that are game used bring $40,000 to $60,000, and this is far more interesting than that.
What about authentication? Because, you know, even Sherry knows that there were people who walked into that bar for years and just sort of went, yeah, sure, the Babe Ruth bat. Does that bother
no,
you at all?
It doesn't really bother me. I think everyone knows that Babe Ruth frequented the tavern, that he was friends with her great-grandmother. It doesn't really bother me at all.
So $40,000 to $60,000.
Maybe even more.
Maybe more. What do you
That's
think?
lovely, thank you.
You never know.
No, you never know. My goodness, you never do know.
Right.
Wonderful.
People are crazy when it comes to buying things like this.
I love it. I mean, I mean, McCuddy's in itself was a great White Sox, institution, and I don't know if she's willing to sell it since it was like part of her family for so long.
$40,000 to $60,000 is what. That must have buckled your knees, Grant.
A little bit.
What do you think of the bat?
Oh, I love the bat. I mean, we don't really have any Babe Ruth memorabilia here. It's a Chicago treasure, but I don't know if you're willing to sell it or not. We certainly would like to. Although 40 to 60,000 is a little steep. Yeah, just a little bit. And I don't know if you'd ever consider even loaning it to us. We could insure it and pay for the insurance, and then it would be out there in our museum. But we have a lot of items like that as well.
That's a thought. It's perfect for your size. You should pick it up and swing.
I know.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
Can I lift it up?
Sure you can. Go ahead.
You're the right guy
I knew.
for
I
it.
could tell he wanted to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Look at that.
That's special.
Is there magic to it?
Yes, it totally is.
Not bad, huh? That was a surprise.
See, it's history. And it's folklore. I mean, it's more than just sports memorabilia.
Hey, what do you got?
This is actually a used jacket. George Foreman wore this jacket for one of his fights. It's signed by Muhammad Ali and George.
What do you got?
I have a signed basketball from the 1963 Division I champion Loyola Ramblers of Chicago. Because of the success they had, it convinced me to go to Loyola.
Tell me what you got.
I have an autographed poster signed by Bobby Hull and Stan Mikita. I was at the game that Stan Mikita scored his 500th goal. I was able to get his autograph on it. I was heard that Bobby Hull was going to be picking up a hairpiece at Hairline Creations, and I ran over there and sat there, and when he walked in, I said, hey, I have a poster and a card. I'd really like you to sign, so that's how I got both of them.
Steve, hockey stick, huh? What makes this one special?
It's a 64-ish era, and it's before Hall was known to shave his handle after a hand injury.
So this is Bobby Hull's stick?
This is Bobby Hull's stick. As you can see, the curve, which was regulated at a later time because of goaltenders scared of where the puck would dip and doodle, and because of the curve.
We know that this one dates to that because after a certain time, 64 or 65, he had a hand injury that
right, yeah,
caused this to change?
he shaved the handle here, was for a better grip, so it dates in that period.
And that curve started when?
Right around the 64 era, Mikita and Hall got together and just started playing around with sticks, and they heated them up, put them underneath a door, and just made some curves, and curve them illegally until they regulated the curve of the stick.
And it caused the puck to dance like somebody's knuckleball,
and
did
especially
it not?
with Hall with a 100+ mile-an-hour shot. I mean, goaltenders were ducking all over the place.
Bobby Hull broke into the National Hockey League in 1957. The 18-year-old was a star immediately. His blazing slap shot was clocked at 118 miles per hour. He and Stan Mikita formed the most feared forward duo in the early 60s, the Golden Jet. He thrilled Blackhawk fans for 15 years, and today he and Stan are back with the team as ambassadors, rooting on the current club.
Scott, hockey stick used by Bobby Hull, game used, what do you think?
Well, first of all, it's a beautiful piece. It's in great condition. The autograph is really nice. It's very prevalent. By the way, it's taped at the top of the stick. And we actually had this picture for reference. This is, again, about a mid-60s picture. We compared them. This is also really cool. It's got the player name stamped right here on the top. And then, of course, we've got the classic Hull curve at the end, which is basically him and Stan Mikita kind of perfected this curve to drive goalies crazy during the 1960s.
And the appraised value would be?
Well, I think a lot of people would be surprised by the value of this. I'm going to put the value on the stick, game used, autographed, at $1,000 to $1,500.
Really? No kidding.
I like it, and I I'll make him an offer. I mean, we have a Bobby Hull museum display right behind his stick right now, so I've already got some ideas where to put it if he's willing to part with it. Well, I mean, since Bobby Hull and Patrick Kane are both partners in this restaurant, and since the Blackhawks celebrated winning the Stanley Cup with us, and Bobby Hull was in this restaurant when they won the Stanley Cup, so I'm sure he would love for me to get this and put it in his museum display cabinet over here. So how does $1,000 sound for you?
I'd like to do $1,200 on it. That's my.
Okay. Well, I think Bobby would kill me if I didn't get it today, so I will be happy to offer you $1,200.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy.
Yeah?
I wasn't sure what it was worth, but I'm happy with what I got. I'm glad it's going to be displayed where people can see it every day.
Have a nice dinner tonight.
Absolutely.
Later, a uniform from a famous baseball movie. What is it worth?
You can't slide in that.
But first, what would you give for a piece of the Wrigley Field scoreboard? A piece of the game, brought to you by Allstate, Chicago's own good hands.